Can you hear us? Hey, what's going on? Can you hear us? Yeah? Thumbs up? Okay, alright, good. Alright, so it looks like we have about a good number of people. Yeah, alright, okay, good. Alright, hello everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Troll Tuesday. I hope everybody's doing well. Everybody that did the marathon on Sunday, I did it. Some of you guys might have been able to get a PR or get a good time, or whatever your goal was. Some of you maybe didn't, but just know that the fact that you were out there, the fact that you were able to get to the start and to the finish, that's a great accomplishment on its own. So I know sometimes you don't hit your goal or whatever you had in mind, and that can be a little heartbreaking at the moment, but you got to look at the grand scheme of things, the big picture, just the fact that you're out there and that you were able to participate and put on that bib, do all that work. That's a big accomplishment. So just congratulations to everybody, and thank you for joining us today. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a little continuation of what we were talking about last week, how to start on the trail and just kind of, get it going on the trail, how to transition from road to trail. So a couple of different things. And we're going to have Coach Ezra join us in a little bit, in a few minutes. So we can talk a little bit about that and a couple other things. So Tony, what else do you have? Any announcements that we have today?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you to everyone tuning in right now. I hope that everyone is feeling great and has had a nice start to their week so far. It's Tuesday. I know that it's raining and it's going to be raining all week, but whatever you can do to get out there, whether it's at the gym or on the trail or on the road, just get it going, get it done, like Gus says. A couple quick announcements. This Sunday, we will be supporting our good friend Sean Finnegan, who is the race director for the Santa Clarita Ultra and Trail Runs, who we had on the show last week. He's hosting a training run of 10 to 12 miles of the 50K loop of the race. It starts at East and Rice Canyon Trailhead in Newhall or Santa Clarita. We posted about it earlier today, so if you need to know the details, please go to our latest post and you'll see it. Everyone is welcome to come, whether you're registered in the race or not. If you're not registered, again, see our post. We have a discount code so that you can register. Or if you want to maybe get to know the course first before you register, see if it's something that you really want to do or not, again, come out. Sean is going to be doing some giveaways. We'll be there supporting with our really good friends, New Basin Blues. And I think a couple Midnight Runners might come out as well. If you have any concerns about not being able to make the run because of the distance or anything, like we always say, just come out, don't be intimidated. Do as much or as little as you want to do. I myself will probably be doing more miles than what the training run calls for. So if anyone wants to join me, feel free. I'll be going at an easy, relaxed pace and just taking it all in.
Another announcement we have is our friends Midnight Runners out in Venice Beach. They are going to have their anniversary run Friday the 27th at 7 p.m. It's going to be at the, what's it called? Venice Waterfront?
Yeah,
Venice Waterfront. So we're going to be there supporting our friends. It's a new friendship that we have, but it's those guys are amazing. They're great, and same mentality we have, just helping everybody, just exposing everybody to the info and being part of the community. So thank you, Midnight Runners, for inviting us, and we're inviting everybody. They told us, hey, bring all your people, bring everybody. So we're telling you, if you can join us, it's going to be Friday at 7 p.m., Friday, March 27th in Venice Beach. It's called Venice Waterfront. That's going to be the spot. It's a really cool spot, and you have parking right there, the one on the lot, and I believe if you get there early enough time, you can find parking on the street as well. But you know what? It's going to be fun. It's going to be a celebration of the community. So let's get out there and support our friends from Midnight Runners. And let's see, what else do we have going on, Tony? Any other announcements that you can think of?
Yeah, actually, a really awesome announcement relating back to Midnight Runners. Last week on Thursday, they were so nice enough to invite us out to take a CPR certification class.
Yes. Thank you, Mikey. Thank
myself,
you,
Gus,
Kevin,
and
everybody.
Cody, our other lead, were able to make. We learned so much in that hour and a half that we were there, and we are happy to say that the three of us are now CPR certified. So just one way that we're now a little bit better equipped to be able to handle an emergency medical situation. We're hoping that the need never arises, but you never know.
You never know. You never know what can happen at any point. It's anything can happen, and it's always that I've always been curious about, and I know Tony has been curious about, and we just never got around to it. And thanks to our friend Mikey and Midnight Runners, everybody else, and Rescue Guy, he was the instructor. So thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for including us in that, and you never know. You never know when that's going to pay off. So big congrats to all those of you that are CPR certified, and if you're not, that's something that I encourage anybody that whenever you get a chance to do it, just go ahead and do it. It's a great thing that you never know when it's going to come in handy, and 2-3 minutes can make a big difference in saving somebody's life, or somebody's giving somebody the chance to be able to make it at least to ambulance, or at least until 911 arrives, or something like that. So definitely something very, very important to be aware of. And I think that's it, right? That's it.
I just want to give one special shout out. Actually, I'll say two. First of all, to everyone who ran LA Marathon. I got to be out there not running the race, but just running along the course. I spent 21 and a half miles on the course, and I wasn't even going that fast, and it beat me up. So kudos to everyone who made it the entire 26 miles and were hitting PR paces. Kudos to everyone who just finished and had the courage to do it. Secondly, one of our viewers right now, hopefully he's still on with us, Trotesin Team Run Free did something incredible while
amazing.
Everyone was out on the LA Marathon course. He ran 12 hours on a treadmill straight and was able to clock 64 miles in those 12 hours on a treadmill.
This thing.
And I was super impressed and inspired by that.
That's crazy.
He actually, if I'm looking at the comments correctly, you guys can scroll up. You'll see him. Trotesin Team Run Free. He posted a little thumbs up and a little sunglasses emoji.
Good congratulations.
Go to his Instagram and you'll learn all about his cause and why he even dared to do that.
That's crazy. That's so mental. That's a great mental challenge. And sometimes I try to do 6 miles on a treadmill when I train. I'm like, normally I cut it to 5, but now 68.
64 miles.
64. Whew, that's amazing. Crazy. Going back to the LA Marathon this weekend, we had great weather. We had cool weather, and thank you to all the groups. Thank you to everybody that showed up and supported and cheered. Everybody, all the crews. I think we saw Midnight Runners had a big presence right there on Sepulveda. As soon as you turn on Sepulveda, that little stretch is very mental, at least for me, So thank you to everybody that showed up. I did notice this year there was a little bit less people on the course, just cheering overall. But the usual suspects are always there: Valley Runners, Team Cruda, New Basin. Who else?
Blacklist,
Run With Us, Run Delay. So everybody,
Anytime Runners,
yeah. So thank you to everybody that came out and supported. I was actually doing a little 5K with with Biggie, with my dog earlier, just a little jog recovery, and Oh, mountain runners. I saw a couple mountain runners people right
good
there
vibes,
too. We saw
Track
Chawa.
Club,
Yeah, good vibes.
some Guapo boys.
Some Guapo boys, yeah. So thank you to everybody that say hi and cheered us on, you know, all the runners. I was listening to a podcast from Demix, Savage Means, the episode that he put out yesterday. I guess I wasn't the only one that noticed that the crowds were a little bit less than usual. So he was talking about that in the podcast. Yeah, so you know, a lot of people are a little hesitant because of what's going on with the virus and all that, and understandable for sure. And you know, it just kind of goes to show more about the community. Like a lot of the people that actually came out and just decided, you know what, I know it's important. I know that, you know, especially in the later miles when you're like feeling tired, feeling down, and you know, just to have that familiar face, that little cheer, you know, that little fist bump. That helps a lot. It goes a long way. So thank you so much for everybody that was there, and thank you to everybody that decided, you know what, I'm not gonna skip it. I'm just gonna go and take the necessary precautions and go and support everybody. So thank you so much. Yeah, this year was cooler weather. They kept saying it's gonna rain, and it didn't rain. So it actually played a big part on everybody having a good day. I think for the most part, everybody did great. Man, so many amazing runners out there on the course. Man, we saw some crazy times. We saw our friend Jerry Garcia do a 250. We saw people that did their first LA marathon do like 330s. You know, that's amazing. We saw people that maybe on previous years they didn't finish, or they took, you know, a lot longer to finish. This year actually get to mile 25 where we were cheering in good spirits, in great spirits, like, you know, actually like hitting the pace, and that was very, very nice to see. Very rewarding. Anything else?
I think we're good.
I think we're good. I think that's it. So we are going to go ahead and bring our friend Ezra in. So let's see if we can find him right there. And if you guys had any questions about recovery, anything like that, again, I did a little 5K, very easy recovery jog with my dog earlier, and after that I took a shower and I feel better. Yesterday I did a few miles too with Tony, very easy, and that helped me feel better. So if you guys have any questions about any recovery, you know, you're not, maybe it was your first time, maybe you're feeling a little more sore than usual, or anything, just hit us up, send us a message, either myself, Tony. Oh, there it is, Coach Ezra. How you doing?
Hello.
All right.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great. How you feeling today? There you go.
Salud.
Cheers. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I ran the marathon on Sunday. And then
We're so used to the trail or, you know, race on Saturday.
I know, right? And then yesterday I needed to, you know, you wake up the morning after a road marathon and your body is a little bit stiff because the road is hard.
Oh, yeah.
We don't like running on the roads. That's why we are trail runners, because the trails are a little bit more forgiving to your body and your joints. But sometimes you just got to be a part of a giant event like the LA Marathon. And that is a long distance on the road. So waking up on Monday morning, you know, the knees are tight, the hips are tight, ankles are tight. And I know that one of the best ways for me to work through any of that stuff is to go out for another run. So I know that these rains are coming our way, as we had all day today.
Yeah,
so I made it a point to go for a run last night, just to go do like an easy 3-mile shakeout run. Yeah. Because I thought, with the weather that's coming, it's getting colder and it's going to be damp, and I could only run either before work or after work, so it'll also be dark. So I figured, with everybody being very hyper concerned about the coronavirus, I don't want to put myself in more danger, and I don't want to run in the cold and the wet if I do not have to. So I wanted to get a jump on just a shakeout run, because if you don't move your body after you've exerted your body, then your body is just going to get super tight and take care of itself instead of adapting to the new physical activity that you just put it through. So a lot of us trail runners, we're fairly addicted to running and running on trails and doing back-to-back runs and sort of putting a new challenge in front of us to go further or try something harder. So we're used to doing a very strenuous workout on Saturday or even doing an ultra on Saturday, but then we still have another day of the weekend on Sunday. We're like, let's hit the trails again.
Like, hey,
and we take it a little easy. Just something, 6 miles, something. So we're used to like shaking our body out, and then we don't really feel the effects of how difficult that earlier day was.
Yeah,
and it just kind of realigns everything. It pumps your blood fresh. It gets your body warmed up, your joints lubricated and loose. And then, you know, you can kind of go, you can also maintain that high level of metabolism and extend your eating party for another day.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
for me personally, if I don't, I tried a lot of different things throughout the years. So I used to not do anything the rest of the week, and believe it or not, I will be stiff and sore, like hurting the rest of the week, the whole week.
That's right.
So then a couple of years ago, I started trying, you know what, the next day, do a light activity, right? Like, you know, either get on the bike for like 30 minutes, just spin the legs, and then I started. Yeah, and that helped the first couple of times I did it. So then I was like, you know what? Let me try just a little jog. Nothing crazy. Just enough to get the muscles warmed up, get the blood flowing. And once I discovered, you know what? That helped. After the second day, I was feeling
it helps.
I was feeling probably 50% better than if I would just sit there all week, you know, not doing anything.
Yeah. It's weird, you know, a lot of people when they train for a big event like a marathon, they just do it, they hit their goal, and then they kind of drop off.
Yes.
So on one hand, it's important to extend your training beyond the race, because if you don't, you won't stay active. And when you start to get a little bit crazier about wanting to do ultras, the training involves back-to-back days of big miles. But we don't even think like, oh, Saturday was such a big day, how will I ever run on Sunday? Now I need to take 5 days off. Like, we totally abandoned that philosophy, and we're like, we just did a big day Saturday. I got to monitor myself so I don't go too hard because I need to do another big day on Sunday. And that's how you get more accustomed to like communicating with your body so that you're able to do things beyond what your mind thought you were able to do.
Exactly, and I think that's one of the differences, right? Since we're on the subject, on the topic from last week carried to this week, of transitioning from road to trail, like our typical, you know, I'm hitting the road for this many miles, that many miles, opposed to when we start getting into the trail, seeing the trail, you know, that's one big difference right there, because especially if you get into the longer stuff, right? Or sometimes there's multi-day things, you know, that you're not sure how to go about, or you're not sure how to be able to do more without hurting. Because you think, oh, wow, I just did a half marathon, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. I'm never going to be able to do, you know, 50K. Like, oh, my God. But it's about knowing your body and also controlling your intensity, right? Not just going all out one day and then the next day. Or for example, everybody I did the marathon, I myself kept it comfortable until the finish, but I know that's not necessarily the case with everybody else. Everybody else is probably going hard right from the start. So, they are going to feel a lot more sore, hurting a lot more, you know, feeling a lot more stiff than what I'm feeling, but also being able to, okay, if we're saying, okay, the next day, you know, maybe try going for a couple miles, that doesn't mean go blast another you know, high intensity miles. It's just something light, something easy, just to warm yourself up, get it going, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
people
so
don't
understand, like, think like, oh wow, this guy's did this, and now again, like, they're running. No, we're saying something light, something small, you know, just
for
something
sure,
easy, just to warm yourself up.
I want to point out to all of the marathoners that should ever watch this, that were running the LA Marathon yesterday or 2 days ago, they are so much closer now to being in fact, they are all ultra marathoners because almost all of them had to walk at least a mile or a mile and a half back.
I walked 2 miles.
Right? So you did 26 miles, 26.2, then you walk a minimum of 2 more miles. So now you're at 28.2. If you're going to do an ultra is just a hair over 30. So you're so close to being there. In fact, I tell people all the time, running a 50K ultra on the trails is easier and more enjoyable than running a marathon on the road, because
Absolutely.
you don't have the hysteria of all of the crazy people. You don't have the anxiety of all of the logistics getting to the start line prior to the marathon, because it's never as crowded on a trail run. You don't have mile markers and timers that stress you out about staying on pace. You have terrain that is always changing and constantly beautiful. And the people that you see, even the most competitive people that you see on a trail run, always have enough energy to acknowledge someone with a smile and a hey and a good job. Everybody does. And
also,
when you
also
feel
for the volunteers, you
oh my
hear
God.
a lot
And
more on trail race like to say, hey, thank you to volunteers and engage.
Oh, when you don't know, when you are running a marathon and you say, hey, thank you, volunteers, and it's a bunch of people from a high school or from an organization, and they're out there like 20 or 30 at each aid station handing you water and Gatorade and stuff, it's great, and you kind of globally acknowledge them. When you're on a trail run and it's an ultra and you get to an aid oasis, because it's not an aid station, it's an aid oasis,
Yes.
you love seeing them. You thank them from the depths of your heart. You want to embrace them and hug them. You want to let them know that their kindness and their presence is making your race for you, and that you can't wait to see them if it's a loop or whatever it is. I mean, it's just amazing to be out on trails. And everybody who ran the LA Marathon, if you're watching this and this was your first marathon, I cannot tell you how much you are fully ready to run an ultra 50K right now. Well, at least not this month.
Well, once you recover,
Right, and how much you are going to love it. A lot of people, as you guys know, are so intimidated by the trails. They think it's the vast wilderness. They'll never survive. You're out there alone. What do you do?
Eaten out by life.
And in terms of like trail running mentality, for so many of us that are not like the elite competitors, we're not the Jesse Haynes out there, we're not the Jerry Garcias out there. The majority of the running pack that runs in an ultra, our philosophy is, let's just take it aid station to aid station. Every time you hit an aid station, it's 5 miles, or maybe it's 7 miles. But it's a goal. You get to that aid station, and then you fuel up. You just reload. You take care of yourself, like we're a NASCAR driver, and we're pulling into a pit stop.
Okay,
it is the most. Yeah.
So with that said, okay, so let me ask you a question, Ezra. So since we're in the subject of transition, so let's say I never run, I just finished LA Marathon. I never stepped on a trail before. I say, hey, Ezra, you know what? I noticed that you run trails a lot, and I always see you out there happy, it's like, hey, cheering, and everybody knows you. Everybody's like, hey, Ezra, so not. Even at the start of the LA Marathon, I heard the announcer saying, hey, there goes Ezra. Everybody knows Ezra. So if I say, Ezra, hey, you know what? I want to check it out. I want to see what this trail stuff is all about. So what's the first thing you will tell me, okay, the first tip or the first pointer that you will give me getting onto a trail?
All right, well, one of the first things, if we were to gather together before we go on a trail run, the first thing all of us in the community do is we want to make sure that nobody's going to get lost. Because everybody has that fear of, I'm going out into a space I've never been to, and I don't want to get lost out there, because what if my GPS doesn't work? What if I don't get a phone signal? I don't know how to make myself return back, and I don't want to wander around in this park out in the Angeles Crest and just be lost out there, right?
Yes.
So the first thing I want to tell people is we are going to run to this landmark. It's in about a mile from now. When we get to that landmark, we are all going to reconvene, and I'll tell you where the next space is that we are going to reconvene. Because I say, look, you can run faster than me, you can run slower than me, but we're all going to reconvene here, and then I'll give you your next instruction as to where to go. Because I want to eliminate that stress from people, because if we have some garbage in our minds while we're running, we're not running at our best.
Especially if it's like my first time stepping on the trail, right? And I'm thinking, oh, I gotta go fast, I gotta go fast. Oh, I do 9-minute miles, 10-minute miles, and I'm trying to do the same thing. But then,
I eliminate all that.
But then we learn quick, a quarter mile in, we're like completely done.
Yeah, you gotta let go of all that.
Pace mentality, right?
Especially if it's like a Kira race, if it's a Kira Henniger race, and we have to like, as soon as the gun goes, right, as soon as she's like, go, it's immediately uphill, and you're like, wow, I can't run this. You know? So that's one of the first things that I do, is I want to make sure that people don't have to worry about getting lost. I take a lot of effort to make sure that if you're running with me, you're not going to get lost, and that you're going to have a nice time. I also remind people that I go at an easy pace. If you want to stick with me and talk with me, great, but you're going to stick with my pace. If you want to go fast, but if you go past that check spot that I told you, then you're on your own. I can only be responsible for as responsible as you are going to be as well. And then anybody behind us, I'm like, I'm not going to lose you. We'll wait for you. And then they're like, no, I don't want you to wait. I'm like, we all love waiting. Don't worry. Yes, we will wait. Yes. But you also have to promise me that you're going to do the best that you can to move towards us, and not all of a sudden just like give up and start walking too slow. Like, you have to take it upon yourself to get to us as well. So once that happens and we're out and we're running, I usually have to tell a new trail runner, I point out like how lame their street running shoes are on the trail. I'm like, look, you can feel the difference. It's like taking you know, like a Prius on a four-wheel, you know, Outback ride.
That's a good way to put it right there. Yes.
You need the right tires for the terrain.
Yes.
And as soon as anybody gets a pair of trail shoes, they can really feel the grip. Because if you're going downhill at all, you don't want to slide and roll on little pebbles, which we have a lot of here in California. Oh, yeah. If you get the right shoes, the tread just grips onto the terrain, and you can run with confidence, and you're not concerned about slipping or pulling your back out or falling. So that's the other thing. Is I tell them, make sure that they get good shoes, and I'll tell them to go to Run With Us or Runner's Circle or Fleet Feet or all of the great shops that we've got in Southern California, so that they get the right gear for it. And then I also tell them, and I also tell them they need to run with some form of hydration, because that's just smart. I say you want to run with a water bottle or a hydration vest, or just carry a handheld, you know, personal sized bottle from Arrowhead, just as long as you have some container to fill up, because even though there may be water fountains out in the park and on the trails, very often those water fountains can be unreliable because the park services could shut them off. And I know in the middle of the summer, I've been on a trail run and it's been hot, and I know that there's a water fountain, and I get to that water fountain and it's turned off. So you want to make sure that you're carrying at least enough water so that you don't stress, panic, or dehydrate, that you don't have your water.
Very important. Not only that, even if the water is actually running, if you're out there in the summer, chances are that water coming out is going to be freaking boiling, because the whole pipe
it's true. That's true.
You know, it's super hot. So,
that's true.
You want to have some type of hydration, right? So that will be a couple good, well, actually great tips to somebody that's just starting. So, now Ezra, we're out there. I got my shoes, I got my water bottles, and I'm just like, man, this is tough. Ezra, you didn't tell me. This sucks, man. Like, I'm just gonna go back to the road. I don't enjoy this. So what?
So then I tell them.
Tell me at that point.
I would tell you this: every trail runner that is in training for any sort of distance run, I said, when you're out here on the trails, what you want to do is you want to enjoy the flats and you want to enjoy the downhills. And when you get to the uphills, you also want to enjoy them. So walk them. Walk those uphills. And here's what I'll do. I'll literally point out.
What are you talking about? People are going to see you
Yeah,
walking.
so here's what I'll do. When I have like new runners with me and they will start like trying to keep up a jog, I'll say, first of all, you're hunching forward, you're putting too much pressure on your lower back, your entire form is misaligned now, and you're burning so much extra energy. If you stop the bouncing up and down on the trail, you get yourself in proper alignment, stand nice and tall, lead from your hips, and walk up that hill, you will walk at a rate that's at least 50% faster than you would jogging in the position you're in.
A lot more effective, right? Not wasted energy, going side to side.
For sure.
All that jazz.
Because lifting your feet up and down, and you're not making any progress. So I'll show them. I'll say, you run, I'll walk. And I just pass them. You just got to stay steady, find your groove, steady, power walk. And it will allow you to breathe deeper. It will allow you to feel more contained and relaxed. You can work so hard with that power walk, and you can pass all sorts of runners.
Yes.
All right, so you guys know that long hill in Griffith Park where the bat cave at the bottom?
Yes.
All right, so that long hill is the best training hill for applying this practice, because everyone is afraid of that hill, especially on the way back up. Like, you can cruise all the way down, but then once you take your pictures at the Bat Cave in Griffith Park at the top of Fuji Canyon, you turn around, and now you got to haul ass back to the top by the bridle trail.
Yes,
so the best way to do that, shoulders down, swinging the arms nice and easy, lead from the hips, breathe in, breathe out, and just keep working like you're a locomotive. And don't worry about running it, because by the time you get to the top, if you ran that hill and you're not an elite trail runner, you're going to be spent.
That's it.
And you still got a long way to go.
That's it. Call the chopper.
That's right. They call it chopper, right? So, you know, and if you're working too hard on the trail, then and it's hot out, well, then you're starting to push, you know, dehydration, lightheadedness, maybe vomiting or passing out, like the more extreme symptoms that happen, but they also happen. They happen. Oh, yeah. And we've also been to races where we have seen runners, it's very rare, but it does happen, where you'd see someone that would need a rescue. And then, you know, why do they need a rescue? Why? Because they pushed themselves too hard and they did not train properly for that level of exertion.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you're out on the trail, you want to be around
take care of themselves, right? Like along the way, right?
Right. And when you're out there, you want to be around people who are CPR certified. Woo woo! That's right. CPR certified, but who are also going to keep you in a place. I love it because it's so social. So I want to run with people when I'm out there running. And if I'm running by myself, or if I have a runner that just takes off by themselves, then I get a little bit concerned, because anything can change at any moment for us on a trail. And most of it happens in our brain, where we start to freak ourselves out, and that triggers anxiety and panic. And anxiety and panic makes us feel like we could be having a heart attack. And then you realize, crap, I'm all by myself in this trail. And then you just start to spiral.
Yeah.
So you want to always, right?
All the things that are going wrong and everything that can go wrong, and that's it.
Yes.
Once your head is out of the game, then you're done. Yes.
For sure. So I always like to keep, if it's not me, it's my friends, or it's the strangers that I see on the trail, and I want to make sure that we always keep positive, happy, supportive vibes with each other, and we stay out of negative thinking from our minds, especially when we're out there enjoying what we love most, which is being in the world, away from our technology, away from concrete, air conditioning, away from cars and pollution, and just in the wilderness, loving it.
Yes, all the noises, all the sounds, everything. It's a
Yeah.
complete different world. Complete different
Yeah,
world.
and then come back and enjoy the air conditioning, your car ride home, and your house. But you
On
can
your way
only
to brunch.
appreciate it. You can only appreciate it if you separate from it, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
We
If
take
you're
we
just
take everything for granted.
yes, absolutely, yeah. And that's another thing going back to the road, right? That will also help you appreciate when you do just a quick 5K around the block. Something that you
Right.
can, this was, a quick, easy thing, right? It didn't take me 2 hours to go, drive to the trail, then get in there and all that and this and that. So
Right.
yeah, going back to the road, that's something also that you will be able to appreciate a little more, right?
For sure. I saw someone ask a question about how do you deal with wildlife?
Mm.
Well, I try not to deal with the wildlife, but admire it. So the
Yes.
wildlife that I have been in contact with, it has been rattlesnakes,
Okay.
and they scare the pants off of me. So whenever I see one, I keep a very big distance and I walk around it. I've also been in contact with not just a coyote, but a pack of coyotes.
Ooh.
And whenever I see a pack of coyotes, I want to be extra careful because you don't want to be around them by yourself because then they have that pack mentality.
Yes.
So you want to make a lot of noise. I have not run into any bears, but if you run into bears, bears do not like loud noise. Make a lot of loud noise. And let me see what else. I think that's about it. Some wild birds that wanted to like hang out, but that was no big deal. I tell you, the most dangerous thing that I've encountered have been dogs that are off their leash with their owner. And you wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think that because you're like, oh, great, dogs. But you just don't know that dog, and really they should not be off leash, and they want to enjoy the trails and give them their freedom and whatever. But when a dog comes running up to you and you're out there on a run and your mind is in a really good place and you get startled by a dog, sometimes that dog isn't friendly. And I've had many runners that have been, snipped at by domestic dogs. Yeah.
Well, this guy can share a story with you about that because
Yeah.
not necessarily that, a lot of times you see dogs that look scary or big and you're like, okay, I'm going to stay away from this one. But the little ones can be vicious too, right? I mean, so this guy can share a story with you. Why don't you tell what happened?
Actually, it was just about, I think, 4 years ago. We were training for LA Marathon, and it was my last long run before LA Marathon, and we were within a mile.
Where was
being
this?
done at Griffith Park. There's dogs and horses and all kinds of other wildlife all over the place. And we actually were on the same trail as a lady, very small, elderly lady, who was walking two very big, strong dogs. But they seemed friendly enough. And when we were coming up behind them, Gus was ahead of me, and he went around them. So he didn't get very close to them to startle them or anything. Again, we have courtesy, or at least we tried.
Yeah. Right.
But it was still enough for one of the dogs to get a little excited and kind of pounce and take a couple little fast steps towards him. However, I was behind him, so by the time that I went by, he just locked into me.
Took a little nibble.
Yeah, and of course, I got startled immediately in that moment, and I took a fast stride to get away from him as soon as possible. Luckily, he didn't lock onto me enough that I wasn't able to shake him. But I maybe got, I don't know, a tenth of a mile away, or maybe a little bit more than that. I ran as fast as I could in that moment to make sure that I was going to be safe and okay. By the time that I turned around and looked down the trail, the dogs and the owner were gone.
Well, I tell you, there was only one dog that I knew and would trust seeing off leash and running around in the wilderness, and that was the greatest trail dog that I had ever seen, and that was Jerry Garcia's beloved dog, who I know had passed. I think her name was Lola. Lana, yeah, and she was just, she loved running with Jerry as much as Jerry loved running with her. The two of them were perfect, and those are two runners that you cannot keep on a leash. They have to go.
Forget it.
So I definitely missed her.
Yeah,
I definitely missed her.
I used to watch her on the stories. Very disciplined, very sweet dog, and I miss her for sure. I'm sure he does too. And there he is, Jerry. So yeah.
Hey, Jerry! All right, there he is.
There he is.
Look at that! Shout out, Jerry! Yeah, I love watching his training. He works hard, and like we were talking about, he knows how to not only take care of himself and push himself, but he also knows how to take care of other runners if they should ever be in trouble. And a lot of runners, believe it or not, you know, they definitely know what to do, how to rescue someone, how to maintain at least, you know, their heart pumping until other professionals can come. And it's just, you know, we have a really powerful community. And I think that speaks true for trail runners that expand beyond Southern California. I just think it's the kind of people that are attracted to, you know, connecting with nature, connecting with themselves, and also looking out for one another. I know that you guys speak a lot about the importance of the support of a community and building that support, and it's really evident on the trails. There's the most significant shift that I have for myself when I'm running a race is if I start to feel like really exhausted, I have to tell myself to get out of my own head and be so selfish and start to look at the other runners and just support them as they pass by. And you do that 2, 3, 4 times in a row as runners go by you, it just changes you. There's a significant shift and you're like, yeah, this feels good again. It feels good to support each other because now I'm not being so selfish about my own garbage. I'm here for them, they're here for me. They smile back at me.
Absolutely. I mean, you can, it's a tribe, right? It's a community. And there's something about being out in the mountains that when you see somebody else, you connect, right? Because it's not your everyday street or your everyday road or bike path, right? You're out there. And I don't know, I think subconsciously we know that we're vulnerable out there, and you see somebody else pass by, you see somebody running that you know, most importantly when you don't know them, and most of the time they're like, hey, how you doing? Hey, which way are you going? Oh, this way. Oh, okay, great. All right, have a good one. And that interaction, I mean, nowadays it's lost, right? In a lot of different circles that we join every day, whether it's work or at the store or a lot of different things, right? Unfortunately, but I feel that our community, it's very good in that respect, right? I mean, you can go do a race anywhere out of state, which, you know, we have had the chance to do a couple races out of state, up north, anywhere, and 99% of the people, you've never seen them before. And
that's right.
But you still have that community, right? You still have those people saying, hey, you good? You okay? You need a gel? Oh, good job. Oh, hey, we're almost there. You know, all those things, right? Which are very important, you know, very important to promote. And like you're saying, you know, just we embrace, you know, the people that want to experience something different, something new than their everyday, right? So definitely. Yeah. So those tips that you were giving us about going uphill and all that sounds kind of like cheat running. I've heard a little bit about it. So what? I know you know a little more about that. So tell us a little bit. What's cheat running? What's that about?
Well, there is a program. There's a running program that is called Chi Running. There's books about Chi running. There's videos. I'm sure there's plenty of YouTube channels about it as well. And essentially, it's spelled C-H-I and then running behind it. So Chi running, C-H-I. And that is, you know, somebody got super smart and said, let me apply some of the principles of, you know, Eastern philosophy exercise and fuse that with running. Just like Bobby Blanks did with Taibo, right? So the Taekwondo and the boxing, and you got that great aerobic workout. He created that program, Taibo, from, you know, Taekwondo and boxing. It's great. So that's essentially what a runner did. I forgot the name of, you know, the gentleman who established it. Because, I say this because I am not a Chi runner. Chi running involves running to a set beat of a metronome that you're constantly like stepping your foot to a metronome and constantly applying your breathing technique with your stepping so you find that rhythm. And then of course there's some gentle modifications in terms of your position, your posture, and leaning forward, leaning backwards for uphill, downhill, so that you are able to really utilize an efficient way of movement. What I am, and I don't know if this is such a thing, so I'm not really claiming that it's mine, but before I ever did any running, just to tell you guys, I was never ever athletic in my life. I'm a theater person, I'm an actor, I was always involved in the theater, and when I went to school, I came from New Jersey where I did nothing. I mean, I tried to play lacrosse, but I never made it in any games. And I tried to wrestle, but then I dropped out of wrestling when it was time to do a play, and I decided to audition for that instead. Right. So like no competitive sports, no team sports, no little league, nothing. Like I watched television and played video games and had a massively active imagination. So when I went to college in California, in Valencia, one of the mandatory classes was learning Tai Chi Chuan, or Tai Chi. And I loved it. And it allowed me to connect my body with my breath. And it is very strenuous. It's something that I still practice. And it's all about keeping your body healthy and strong and in alignment. And I really loved all of those principles, but I also loved the meditative quality of practicing Tai Chi. It's like doing yoga, standing up in a very slow motion dance moves.
Wow.
That's kind of like, if we were to say it really rough, it's like slow motion standing yoga. Okay. Wow. So after a while, years pass, and I continued to practice Tai Chi for maybe it was like 6 years or 7 years. And now I'm engaged to marry Sabrina, my wife. And I had so much energy in me, and the only way that I was really able to burn out energy was in group aerobics classes. That was my workout. I didn't pump iron, you know, I didn't do spin classes. I loved aerobics because, again, it was a group environment. I loved being with people.
Yeah, they interact. Yeah.
Exactly. I liked supporting each other. I liked being with people. I liked sweating. I liked music. And aerobics was just fun for me, although I wasn't like crazy. It was just a good way to burn energy. And then I went to the gym one day and it was closed. And I was in my workout clothes. And I wanted to work out because I was in my workout clothes. They want to take them off. What am I going to do? Do I wash them? They weren't sweaty. Yeah. Do I put them back in the drawer? It's kind of nasty. So I don't know what to do. I'm like, let me just go and run. So I ran for about 3 blocks, and I was completely red in the face and out of breath. And I was like, but I got to burn the energy. I'm like, wow, that was good. Nice. That was weak. It was weak of me, but it was good. Oh, I'm like, I'm going to do that again. Right? Wow. The only way that I knew to warm up my body before exercising was to apply my Tai Chi exercises that I would do to warm up to practice Tai Chi. And then when I would run, I would try and tap into my breathing, connect my breathing with how I was moving, and if I needed to move faster, my breath would respond, and if I wanted to slow down, my breath would respond. And then I would think about, don't carry my tension in my shoulders, drop your shoulders, keep your head up nice and long, your chin parallel to the ground. I don't need to look down at the ground to look at the ground with my head forward. I can keep my head in alignment and my eyeballs can move around. And all of those principles I have always applied to my running. In fact, You know, a lot of runners complain about knee problems and IT bands, all of the common injuries, hip problems, lower back problems. And don't get me wrong, I've had all of those issues, but they were never serious. Because when I run with soft, loose joints. My knees are bent. I don't pound into the floor with my steps. I move through them almost as if I'm on wheels. So I try to think of my legs more like wheels instead of sticks that are pounding into the ground. And using all of that, I've applied a Tai Chi principle to my running. So I'm more of a Tai Chi runner instead of a Chi runner. And what I tend to do is, and I had to do this during the LA Marathon, right around mile 21, right by the Veterans Center.
Yes,
okay?
Sure.
Right before we hit Brentwood. I'm running, I'm starting to get tired now, and I'm literally, as I'm running, moving forward, I'm breathing in through my nose, and I extend my arms up, and I exhale down, a full breath, and I just let my body relax with my breath. I do it 4, 5, 6 times, and then once that's done, I feel replenished enough to start running. I don't know how long it will last, but long enough until I need to then walk some more.
Yeah,
and that's how
like a quick little reset, right? Just for your lips, your body, your breath, your core, everything, just kind of re-engage, right? And reset.
Exactly. And that's how I run. Unlike so many other runners that you guys talk to, or maybe even the mindset that you guys have been at one point or will be, I am never, ever out there running for any accomplished finish time. When I'm out there just to be there. And if I finish longer or shorter, that's great. But none of it ever matters. That's why I run so often. I run lots of races. I like to run a lot during the week because I don't want anything to matter that much that I have to work real hard for that one thing. I want to always be I want to be the runner that doesn't PR, that doesn't BQ for Boston qualifying, and then stop running because I damaged myself.
Yes.
I want to be the runner that says, I'm going for a run tomorrow because my body still feels good.
Definitely.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah, it's something interesting that I heard today on another podcast that I was listening to. It was running is a lifetime sport.
Yeah.
And I had never heard it that way, right? And I mean, we see a lot of people out there that do a lot of different sports, like, for example, basketball, football. You get into your mid-30s, and you're done. You're old, right? Because it takes a lot of different motions, a lot of different types of workouts, a lot of different things, right? Running, on the other hand, you see people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, right? There's a couple of famous people that are up there in age, and they still run. And, they've been doing it for upwards of, 40, 50 years. And yeah, that's something very important, what you just said, just enjoy it and take care of yourself and find out what works for you, right? And all this Chi running stuff that you just mentioned is very important, very interesting. Just a different way of looking at things, right? Not just like like you were saying, not just I have to hit this pace and this time and all that. Ultimately, you're out there to enjoy yourself, right? In a way, and just you want to keep doing it for the long run. You don't want to just do it for 1 or 2 years and then that's it. You're done. It can take you a couple of years if you really want to put yourself into getting a certain PR, certain time, right? But then after that, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Right? So it's all about making it last, right? You have, all this future ahead of you, hopefully that you want to still be able to enjoy and engage the activity, right?
Yeah, I know that there are anybody who is a passionate runner that we know, when they are sidelined by an injury and they miss out on going on that run, we can all relate to how difficult that is, how emotionally challenging that is, because we get something from our activity of running that is beyond just physical fitness. It's mental stability, it's emotional stability, it's peace of mind, it's a greater sense of compassion and patience. And when we don't have an opportunity to expel that excess energy, because a lot of us, you know, look, when we were all growing up, we didn't have things that were diagnosed as hyperactivity, ADHD, you know, where people were just, you know, they just have all this energy and you know, they weren't being diagnosed and then unfortunately medicated to calm their ass down.
Just a quick pill, a quick this and that, yes.
Right. So here we are, you know, we were probably all very hyperactive kids when we were younger. I mean, kids are playful and kids have a lot of excess energy to burn. Maybe some of these trail running folks had a little bit more. Maybe we were a little bit more of the class clown type and got into trouble every now and then. Right? Because now that we're out on the trails and we get to burn some of that energy off, we're overall better people. I know that I am a better parent. I know that I'm a better coworker. I'm a better spouse. I know that I'm a more patient human being and compassionate in the universe to society. And if I don't get an opportunity to like expel that energy by running, then I'm, you know, irritable. You don't want to get road rage. You don't want to get short with people at work. And you certainly want to be present for your loved ones and friends so that they can see you at your best. When I was running the marathon on Sunday, there was, and I've been running now for almost 20 years. So when I saw this one sign on Marathon Sunday, just 2 days ago, I saw something for the first time that I had not seen yet. Way back when I first started running with the Chinatown Firecracker Run, I remember running up the hill right there off of Broadway, right into Elysian Park, and they had some kids that were volunteering, and they all had like little signs. And one of the signs said, breathe, and another one said, relax your shoulders. And I mean, like, how Chinese is that? You know what I mean? They're already telling you to do like Tai Chi in their own way. So those always stuck with me. And now, this past Sunday, I saw one individual, I don't even know the gender of the person. They were holding a sign.
That's
and
right.
the sign.
Sorry to cut you off real quick. We're actually going to time out because the time, it's 1 hour.
Right, I know it. I know how it works.
Let's cut it off real quick and let's log back on just so we can have some closing words because this is very interesting. So let's close it and everybody please log back on. Okay? So go ahead.
All right, they'll be right back.
All right. All right, so we are back. So I hope everybody was able to catch that, to log back in, and we are going to find Ezra again because that is very interesting, all the stuff that he was saying. So let's see. I believe we are back. All right, so let's wait for Ezra to come back with us. Yeah, that's there we go. All right. So yeah,
I can't believe it.
This stuff is very interesting, very interesting. So
and
as you can see, the hour goes by quick.
Yeah, we like gave a legit cliffhanger on that one. Like I didn't even tell you what the sign said yet.
It was right up to the back. All right, so let's wait for Ezra to come back with us. Yeah, that's there we go. All right. So yeah,
I can't believe it.
This stuff is very interesting, very interesting. So
and as
you can see, the hour goes by quick.
Yeah, we like gave a legit cliffhanger on that one. Like I didn't even tell you what the sign said yet.
It was right up to it.
It was crazy.
You were saying you saw those signs, right? So breathe and relax your shoulders.
Right. So then on Marathon Sunday, I saw this sign and it caught my attention. And when you're running, you never know the things that are going to catch your attention. It could be a spectator, it could be a sign, it could be a volunteer. Like you just don't know. Or, you know, some crazy runner in a whacked out outfit. You don't know why they're doing that. Right? So the sign said, run the mile you're in.
Yeah.
And it was so very simple. And really the simplest things are sometimes the most profound. And I thought to myself, wow, run the mile you're in. Like that, like running as a metaphor for life, sure. Obviously, right? Life is a marathon. You just said it. It's just not, you know, it's not a sprint, all that stuff. We know all the running metaphors. But to run the mile you're in and to take that and think about it in terms of You may have big projects ahead of you. Don't think about the completion of it. Think about where you are currently in that stage of achieving that goal. Like for us, I saw this mile sign. Maybe it was around mile 7. And in my mind at mile 7, you know, I'm already thinking, all right, get to the half marathon mark at mile 13. Okay, then you need to get to mile 20. Oh, okay. Then you're going to go and see Shenny and Corey at mile 25. Okay, then you're going to get to the finish line. Okay, so like I had all of this shit in my head. And I'm like, I saw the sign. I'm like, no, no, no. I'll get there when I get there. Right now, stay in mile 7 and then stay in mile 8. And it just, for some reason, it really, really spoke to me in terms of like how we get ahead of ourselves so often in everything.
Yes.
Everything. Like if we're stuck in traffic, all we're doing is stressing out about how we're going to be late about where we're going to get to when we get there. Instead of, well, if I'm stuck here, I'm stuck here. This is all I can do. So just like be where you are, you know, like run the mile you're in and then see what happens next.
And that brings me to something else, which is enjoying, right? Enjoying the journey, enjoying the trail, right? That's something that we wanted to mention as well, because it's not just, okay, I have to run 10 miles today, let me get to the trailhead, okay, and let me just go, right? And a lot of times we get burnt out that way, right? Because we're not opening our eyes and taking a moment, right, just to appreciate the view, right? Especially after a long climb, you know, that's the reward for the climb.
Right. I mean, I try to stay, I mean, I'm like everybody else. We all get ahead of ourselves. We all think about it being over. Especially if we're in like a really rough race. We're all thinking about, I just want it over. But then we're missing out about just being where we are. And sometimes if we think about right where we are, we can fix our attitude and just tell ourselves that we can make this moment a little bit better just by thinking about that. And then you don't care about where you're going because you don't want that moment to end. So, and that happens all the time in the trails.
Yeah, and I mean, as we say, right, energy is contagious, right? Positive energy goes around and comes around, so the more you put out that energy as well, and, you know, a lot of times trail runs are not really about getting the miles done or getting the workout done or none of that. It's just about disconnecting, right? Unplugging and enjoying the outdoors and recharging, right?
Yeah. Plus a lot of us don't really take the time to enjoy how beautiful just the world is. And for us, we're super fortunate because we live in California and it's beautiful even while we're driving. Just looking on the horizon, we see that it's already beautiful, or the sky. But honestly, everybody has something beautiful to look at if they step out of their house. They'll see it. So
Absolutely.
Going out for a run outside, you know, there's beauty everywhere, no matter where you live.
Absolutely. So Ezra, so tell us if anybody somehow doesn't know you out there that's watching and they're like, hey, you know what, I like everything Ezra's saying. I like his vibe. I like everything. So tell us how can we get a hold of you? How can we maybe join you maybe sometime for a run or something? Where do you hang out, Ezra?
Well, you will always find me here on Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram. I would love to be a part of you and your adventures as a runner, and I'll follow you back because I love to follow runners. I love to see what you guys are doing, and you inspire me, and that's how I found Shenny and Anytime Runners. And you guys, you know, when you go out there, I know that you know, sometimes we're all creatures of comfort and routine, and we want to just stick to the places that we know. But what I love so much about Anytime Runners is you guys are bopping around all over the place, and I know that I'm checking out new places, meeting new people, and the more people you meet, the nicer the world is and the community is. So you can always find me on Instagram. So find me here. I'll follow you back. The things you'll find on my Instagram, as it turns out, are like just some basic things. Number one, a lot of running. Number two, you will see me act the fool a lot. I sing in my car. I do stuff with my family. I'm just I just don't take myself seriously like that. You'll also get to see me and the work that I do as a voiceover director with a lot of Miraculous Ladybug, which is a show I absolutely love working on, and I love the fans that are a part of that community. So you'll see me do stuff like that. And then you'll also see me do like audience warm-up work for television shows. Like I work on a Nickelodeon show called All That, and sometimes I'll take my Instagram story there. But I'm on Facebook. It's the same name. It's Ezra Weisz on Facebook. And if you want to run with me, I run with the Pasadena Pacers on Saturday mornings. I run as many of the Kira Henniger races as I can. I also run on Sundays, and I usually run Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. somewhere in Griffith Park, and I usually start by the Autry Museum across the street from the LA Zoo. And if you ever plan to come out and run with me, I would absolutely love it. But please message me before you just randomly show up, because we may be changing locations or I may have a race that day, and I really hate for runners to show up wanting to run and then nobody's there, because it's all about
you didn't go. You said you were gonna be there.
yeah, and I'm an amazing communicator if you communicate with me. I can't be an amazing communicator if I don't have someone to communicate with.
Exactly.
So send me a message. You know, if it gets to a place where we are going to meet up somewhere, we'll exchange digits so that you can text, or you can call and say, I'm running 5 minutes late, please don't leave without me, which is what happens all the time with me. So I'd love to run with you guys. Whoever's watching, if we haven't gone for a run together, it would give me so much joy to get to know you and to meet you. No, you're not too slow. Yes, I'm probably slower than you are. And I am not out there to be done at any specific time other than, you know, a reasonable amount of time out on the trails. So
just enjoy and soak it all in, right?
Yeah, and now that the LA Marathon training season is done, the rest of the year I'm going to pretty much spend most of my time on the trails. That's my happy place. If we show up, if you want to show up and run with me at the Pasadena Pacers, and you can always find them on Instagram or on Facebook as well. But if you meet up with me in the Pasadena Pacers, you see me, I will make announcements, and I also lead the warm-ups. Please come up to me and say, hey, I saw you guys on the Anytime Runners. Please, you know, just let me know that it's you. I'll give you a high five, or if you're a hugger like I'm a hugger, I'll give you a hug, and we'll go and we'll hit the trails.
Nice, awesome. Thank you so much, Ezra. Thank you for giving us your time today. And we went a little bit over the hour, but that's how it goes, you know. Especially when we have a lot of great information like you do to share. That's the whole point of this thing, just to share information with everybody and put out all these little things like you were saying. Like, for example, now we have something else to go look at and Google and search, right? The Chi running, and see if that's something we can incorporate, right, in our own and little things. You know, it might help, it might not, but the best thing is that you'll know if you try it, if it works for you, or if it doesn't work for you. Right. Know, it can be beneficiary for you, or it might not. So, you know. Right.
Well, you know how you're welcome. I do want to mention, and then you'll say goodnight, I promise. But there's one other thing that I want to point out. You know, when you hear people of great significance, like amazing athletes, like Michael Jordan, or like great thinkers, right, like Steve Jobs, whenever you hear them interviewed and people are like talking about their creativity or their athleticism, they kind of tap into this topic of their flow. Like where they don't work hard, they aren't trying anymore, like it's just all of a sudden things are flowing from them, right? Yeah. Great athletes talk about it all the time. So this Tai Chi running, just running trails, and you all of a sudden feel euphoric. Whenever we're working at our best and we're not pushing hard and we feel like that runner's high and elated, that's when we are tapping into our flow. And there's a lot of topics on that. You know, you'll be able to read that in so many different facets of the world, you know, in terms of business, athletics, creativity, right? So it's about tapping into that flow. And as a runner, when we get that, that is almost like we're on a treadmill, or we're you know, caught in a riptide. It just carries us through. So all that I'm talking about in terms of the chi running,
rhythm, right? Yeah, when you get into that zone, right?
Into that flow.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Well, we'll have to do this again and keep the conversation going, because we have a lot of things to talk about, and all this great information and things to point people to certain direction, right? So they can try this and that, a couple of different things that might help, maybe not, but you know, that's the only way to know, right? Everybody's different.
Try it.
What works for you might work for Tony, maybe not for me, maybe for me, not for you, you know. Right. Everybody's different.
Maybe it'll work. Maybe it works 1 year, and then maybe it doesn't work the next year. Who knows? We all change.
Yes, especially like you're saying, you know, when you're in that flow, and that's when you recognize, okay, this is working, you know. And sometimes you don't want it to end, right? It's like whatever sometimes is a big deal, not just running, but in life, you know, in general, a lot of things, you know, whatever sometimes a big deal, when you're in that flow and in that zone, you just keep going. You don't even think about it. You brush it off, right? And you just move on.
Yeah.
So, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Ezra, and we will see you soon, hopefully out on the trail. We'll be in Santa Clarita on Sunday for that training run. And please follow our friend Ezra. Thank you so much for your time. And
I will be running Kira's Griffith Park Marathon on Saturday. Right. If anybody is running Kira's race on Saturday, hit me up. Let's say hi. I'd love to talk with you. Maybe we'll run together a little bit. I don't know if you guys are going to be there or not, who are watching right now. But if you are, I'll be there too. So I'll see you there.
Nice. We'll see you guys. And go ahead and give Ezra a follow. And thank you so much. And also, if you follow the hashtag Trail Talk Live, you can see all the updates and who's coming up and all that. Also, we have been working on putting all the previous episodes on YouTube, so all loaded. The one from last week with Sean Finnegan is there. So if you go to the link in my bio, and after this, we're going to put it on the Anytime Runners page bio as well. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube page so that next time, as soon as it's ready, you get that notification and you can watch it. So this stays up for 24 hours, but, you know, it's something that you can always go back and watch it later or watch it again next time. Just like, all those things, little key things that Ezra mentioned today, right? So if you missed it,